lot of things that have, I think, caused quite a bit of confusion that I want to clear up so that everyone's on the same page and hopefully as excited as I am about where things are going and the future of Cure and the Cure ecosystem. So I'll talk for a bit here and get everyone up to speed, and then I'll open up to some questions at the end here for anyone who may have them. So I have the chat open, so if you want to ask any questions, you can feel free to chat them in the main group chat. Otherwise, speak up at the end. But as I said, I've been traveling. I just got back actually a few minutes ago here to Chicago after being in Kansas City for Saturday, left early Saturday morning, just got back, and the purpose of which was to scope out the racetrack for our NASCAR sponsorship for Cure Token. And the purpose of that is to figure out, where we're going to be hosting any events that we want to have out there, talk through any signage opportunities to get more awareness on the project and so forth, but also identify what else we can be doing out there. Since this is a significant investment for Cure Token, we want to make sure that we get the most out of it. So it was a beneficial weekend. It would have been very difficult to plan an event out there without having seen the location, seen the facilities, and spoken with the general manager out there as well as his staff to understand how this is all going to come together. Because that sponsorship is a big deal for Cure Token, and we just want to make sure that everything comes through on the right tone and the right message, and I believe it will. So look forward to that. That obviously is, as most of you know, if not all of you, it is September 11th, and it'll be in Kansas City, which is about 7.5 hours from Chicago. But all great things there. I see Gemma just posted the suit. So the fire suit that will be worn by Noah Gragson in the race. And he's been doing really well in these races. Additionally, he races in the Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series. And as you know, our sponsorship is with the Cup Series, which is with Kaulig Racing. So take a look at the fire suit there, and you can see that things are coming together pretty well. Additionally, in regards to that, Eric and I have been working with NASCAR Foundation and the race teams to try to solicit kind of interest for them to want to put yellow netting on the cars, which is not a usual thing. Usually it's black netting, but we made a lot of progress, and we think that this is going to be something that a lot of the race teams and drivers will want to do in support of childhood cancer. So that is pretty exciting that they don't do this a lot, and they're showing a lot of interest around it. Afterwards, those nets will be available they'll be signed by the drivers and race teams, and they'll be auctioned off. And so that'd be really cool. So if nothing more out of all of this, we will get a lot of eyeballs on it, a lot of awareness to be generated for pediatric cancer. And I think the net positive will be really great and great to see. So that's where I'm coming back from, and obviously a little bit exhausted here. It's been a crazy weekend of travel and then trying to nail down as much as possible while I was out there. But that's going along well. And so some of the bigger news of what's been going on this week, the team has been gracious enough to kind of be facilitating the rollout of Cure Chain. And I want to talk a lot about Cure Chain today to get everyone up to speed on what it is, how it's going to work, how it's going to benefit Cure Token, and kind of the future of this Cure ecosystem. And I want to start by backing up in time a little bit here, and backing up to July of last year when Cure Token launched. We launched and tried to do as best as we could, but realized pretty quickly that we needed to create a V2 contract, which at that point we brought on some experts in the space. And the experts were people who were highly recommended by Rob at Seek Token, which hopefully he's on here today. But if not, for those of you who don't know, Seek Token is a project that is kind of like the police force or FBI of cryptocurrency, to try to clean up the space and find legitimate projects, legitimate developers and founders and teams, and really help them grow and give them the tools and resources they need. And at that point, we needed some support, and he connected me with Eric, who was I guess more than willing to help out. He believed in what we were building, believed in the mission, believed in the project and its potential. And then we launched V2 in September, which is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. So we launched in September with our V2 contract, and that was a big success. We launched with very little liquidity. We quickly rose to a pretty substantial market cap in the first few hours. And then the project sort of existed for a few weeks. And then that's when it caught the eyes of some other big influencers and other people in the BSC space, specifically the Toshify community. I mean, that's when they came on board and really gave new life to the whole vision of what Cure was, and took it to its all-time high with their support and others. We got it to a 56 million in market cap. That's pretty astronomical to think about where it started versus where we were able to get to. And those of you who know me, I'm over transparent. I think I talk a little bit too much, show a little bit too much behind the curtains, but that's just the way I am. And I believed from the very beginning that this project needed to be founded on transparency and authenticity, which I think that we have withheld that. We've had a down market since December, which has been extremely difficult. And the whole entire B&B space is down over 50%. And keep in mind, when we launched in September, that was right at the tail end of the bull market. So we had a couple months of success there, and then it was a steady decline in the entire market of BSC, and not just BSC, but crypto in general. And looking back at time, you'll see that we launched a variety of different things, trying to build more benefits to our holders, and such as staking. We got listed on our first centralized exchange. We got listed on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. Every single time that one of these major events occurred, it just happened to be one of the worst days in crypto. I remember looking back at our launch on the centralized exchange, and it was the worst day for Bitcoin in 2021. Really bad timing. And since that point, obviously coming into the new year, I think all of us anticipated that, we would be done with the downward trends, and things would continually grow and go up farther and faster. And inevitably, the market took a collapse again. A war started, and other outside influences to crypto space. Where we sit today is we have been, investing in technology since November of last year. So November of last year, if you recall, right around Thanksgiving time in the U.S., we launched staking. Right on the heels of that, we launched CurePay. And CurePay was the easy on-ramp for Cure Token. Since that point, we have been furthering the development of that in order to make it accessible to other projects. We feel that is our one of our largest utilities, in that once we get this onboarded with other projects, we'll be able to have a consistent stream of revenue coming into the project in order to help build a liquidity. That's something that I'm very excited about still, that I feel we're in a good position to do that. And we had some stumbling along the way, not with us or our project, but with other projects that we wanted to onboard. But there's still quite a few projects that do want to get onboarded to CurePay. So we are still chasing that, and we feel that that's going to be a really good foundation for growth within our project, utilizing that utility. Additionally, after the first of the year, we started on, well, actually it was before the first of the year, I think it was November of last year, we started this idea, which was never the original idea of Cure Token, to launch Cure Chain. And the Cure Chain was a thought that came after the launch of Cure Token, as a way that we could change the way research is done throughout the world. And it's resonated. We've subsequently brought on Jim Nasser, who is our strategic technical advisor, and he's helping craft and define alongside myself on how this comes to life and how it's going to provide consent, patient consent, how it's going to aggregate data, how that data is going to get stored, how it's going to interact with the blockchain, and inevitably what the NFT is going to look like from a monetization perspective. And then as well, I've been working alongside that with researchers trying to figure out how the usage is going to be done, and as well speaking with other foundations on how we're going to activate this and how we're going to get it into the masses. One of the biggest gaps in this entire concept is getting people to want to use it, getting people to share their information. And that's people who want to get rewarded by it, but also those who just want to help. And that's why I feel that the differentiator of what we've done versus what others have tried in the past is that we've combined it with a dynamic NFT, a reward-based system. You have, what is that called? The residuals or royalties coming off of your NFT. I mean, those are some big concepts. But then additionally, I feel very strongly that we're going to be able to create a larger audience through the foundations, through different networks. So whether it be ALS or heart disease or diabetes or breast cancer, all these different types of groups that have very big followings, all they want to do is make a difference and create their impact. And they can do that through CureChain. And they can do that by sharing their medical information anonymously and agnostically. So I'm really excited about where that has proceeded. What a lot of people don't realize is that this development is a very significant investment. The investment is not just in time, but in the dollars that go into it to build something of this scale. I mean, we're talking not about a small scale utility that's like a staking or a farming. I mean, we're talking about a world changing platform, an ecosystem that is going to require a lot of effort, a lot of people, a lot of time in order to architect it, but also develop it. So we've started that, and I got an echo. Let me make sure everyone is muted. Yeah, so we've started that and have actually made quite a bit of progress. Where we find ourselves now is we're at the point where we need to inject a significant amount of capital into it in order to get it into its demonstrable stage. And we're close to doing that. Cure Token was great early on because we had a lot of volume. I mean, I think at one day there was a point at which we had $1 million in volume, and that's awesome. But keep in mind that Cure Token tokenomics were never created to support that sort of CureChain technology development. It's a charity project with charity component with marketing as part of the utility or as part of the tokenomics, and that is not sustainable. If we were maintaining a $1 million a day volume, then yes, that would be sustainable. So as everyone I think knows and believes, everything I do when as it relates to Cure is about building our chart back. That's my number one priority. So I outside of the charity side, but everything I do is about building a chart back, and you'll see throughout the past 6 months, almost every single month, we're doing stuff that's extremely progressive that a lot of other projects don't even have the luxury of doing, or don't even have the luxury of building. We're building a lot of technologies. We are looking at tons of partnerships. This NASCAR sponsorship is a very, very big deal, and it is going to bring a lot more eyeballs onto our project. And I think a lot of people even realize, as we get closer to September, that's going to pay off. We're going to see a significant rise of new people coming in. And that's also the other reason why we developed and invested in CurePay. Is you want to make it easy on-ramp for people to come in to Cure Token who know nothing about wallets and know nothing about exchanges and know nothing about the BSC space. We want those people to be able to come into the project. And we've seen it happen. CurePay has allowed and enabled that to occur. But additionally, I think once we get closer to September, we're going to see a big rise in that. So, NASCAR is a big deal. The other thing is American Airlines. I really wish that would have, taken our chart to a new height. But, inevitably it doesn't seem to be resonating. But that doesn't mean it's not done. We have 2 months of this, and we're in the second week of it. So there's still 1.5 months of exposure on American Airlines that I'm really hoping is going to, be beneficial to the project. I'll tell you, I did fly out to Austin last week on American Airlines, and unfortunately I didn't see the video because I was on an American Eagle flight, which is like a lower end version of American Airlines. But I was really excited about seeing it, but inevitably they just didn't have screens on their airline, or on that airline, so I wasn't able to. I was really excited to take some video of it and share it with everyone. But I'll be flying out again next week, and hopefully on American. So I'm hoping that it is a American Airlines flight, not an American Eagle flight, and I'll be able to share that video in flight, which would be really cool to see. But it's those types of partnerships and sponsorships which we've been focused on. You know, we've made a lot of announcements over the past few months here of those types of things, but additionally, it's CureChain. So where we netted out is CureChain is a beneficiary utility. You know, the whole goal of Cure Token, as all of you know, for me, is the charity aspect. You know, but Cure Token is at the center of Cure. It is our ecosystem, you know, and it is I guess the pinnacle or the foundation of this entire project, and everything gets built off of it. You know, CureChain, the future state of CureChain is that it's going to be developed what was determined early on as its own blockchain or right on top of an existing blockchain. After talking with experts, we determined that the best blockchain for this type of healthcare related utility is going to be the Hedera network. And there's a lot of reasons for this. Hedera is proven in healthcare, in research already at this point, but also other places. I think I heard today from one of my admins that I think it was Australia or another country picked Hedera up as the blockchain of choice for that country. So Hedera is definitely one of the best networks out there. It has one of the cheapest gas fees for transactions, and it's meant for something like this, meant for this type of utility. So that's the future state of where this is going to go. Keep in mind, though, even when this is on a network like that, if it is Hedera, which I believe it is, but even when it's there, it will still benefit Cure Token, you know, because that is the root. That's the center of the ecosystem. So CureChain initially is going to be a beneficiary utility built on the Ethereum network, and there's a lot of reasons for this. You know, but of the transactions that occur over there, percentages are going to go over to our chart in the form of buyback and burn, and this is extremely positive for Cure Token holders. This means that when activity is happening on the Ethereum network, our chart is going to grow. We're going to get injections of liquidity coming into it in the form of buyback and burn every time somebody interacts on Ethereum. So that's a big benefit to us. That means that stuff's going to be coming into the BSC space that would not have been there historically. So this is like bridging Ethereum into the BSC space in a way that it's directly benefiting Cure Token and Cure Token holders. So I mean, that's at the forefront. The primary reason why we're doing this is to benefit Cure Token. You know, the other reason that we feel that Ethereum is the right first step, not the last step, but the next first step for CureChain, is that it's going to bring in a different level of investments. Because in Ethereum, there's investments that are being made that are very significant in comparison to the BSC space, for example, which all of us have lived in for a long time. You know, so the investment amounts are much more significant because the gas fees are so much more significant. The buys on the Ethereum side are not going to be the $6 to $8 to $12, $100 buys. They're going to be much more significant than that. And keep in mind that of that percentage just funneling into the BSC Cure Token project. So this is a strategic move. Very important that we look at it that way, that this is strategic, that we're trying to find ways of building Cure Token. I mean, I've tried for months, even in a down market, to do that, whether it be through CurePay or sponsorships or other types of ways that we can grow our chart. It seems like every time that we're going to be getting some traction, we get some previous sellers that have either given up on time, don't no longer believe in what we're trying to build, and they exit, which is inevitable in crypto space. You can't avoid that. But it does kill the momentum, you know, and that's what is unfortunate, because we're all trying to continually grow the project, and we want to see it continually go up, obviously. but sometimes that just doesn't happen, and sometimes it's inevitable. So, but I mean, the point is that everything that we're doing, and this isn't the end of it. There's a lot more that's going to be announced here within this ecosystem, but this is the first piece of something that I've hinted to for several months around an Ethereum bridge or Ethereum fork in the benefit of Cure Token. And that's what this is the first piece of that. So there's a lot of things to share on Cure Token as well. Obviously one of the benefits to being a Cure Token holder is that you get first right of refusal. We wanted to make sure that anyone who wanted to join Cure Chain as a Cure Token holder had the absolute best benefits possible, which means based on the amount of Cure that you own, you get zero taxes as a result of that. That's big, getting a pre-sale into a project that is in support, that is a beneficiary utility of the project that you believe in, that you exist in. This is a tool that we have to look at. And the best way to look at it is that, Cure Token is the core, Cure Token is what we believe in, Cure Token is what we're growing. And then we have tools. Those tools come in the form of Cure Pay, they come in the form of Cure Chain, they come in the form of the research NFTs. All these different things are tools in order to grow the base and grow the core. So there's a lot that I can talk about with this, such as the pre-sale that's going to be coming up, which is, as I said, if you own Cure tokens at different levels, then you're able to enter at 0%. We're going to have 2 or 3 different levels at which people can come into the pre-sale. The first two of which are only allowed for Cure Token holders. So you have to be a Cure Token holder in order to be eligible for those pre-sales. Additionally, there's a lot of new features which we want to introduce as well. And as I mentioned, this first evolution of Cure Chain is not the last. This is going to evolve. And every time it evolves, it's always going to be in support of Cure Token. So the evolution is going to evolve from Ethereum. It's going to continue into Hedera once we get to the portion where we have dynamic NFTs, which is already on the roadmap, already planned out, and already actually in development. So there's a lot happening there, but all of this is coming together in a way that I believe is going to revolutionize not just the research space, the charity sector, but Cure Token itself. We need to get out of this flat zone we're in. And it's very hard to do when you're in a continual down market and people lose patience or people need to liquidate for whatever reasons, but it's really hard to do. So all the effort that we put in on a daily basis sometimes feel like we're hitting a brick wall. So we have to look at other ways that we can grow our chart consistently and grow it without having a lot of efforts of buys. And that's another reason why we've developed the Cure Chain beneficiary utility on Ethereum. Is we need new holders. We need it to benefit Cure Token. We need the Cure Token chart to grow. So all of this is working together in a way that we feel is going to take Cure Token to a much more sustainable level with increased liquidity, with our chart that increases naturally, and just benefits all the holders, whether you're long-term or new coming into the project. You're going to be able to benefit from it. Once we do get Cure Chain into the state where we have like future state Cure Chain, the Hedera version, and all of its tokenomics mapped out, we'll better understand how the ecosystem works with researchers, with NFT holders, what the currency is, and all those sorts of things, which is all the next exercises that we're performing after we get past this demonstrable proof of concept, showing how data can be turned into an NFT, how it can be accessed, how you can provide consent, all the underlying technology that is needed to support the future state of Cure Chain is that first demonstrable stage, and that's what we're working on right now. So there's a lot more I can talk about with all of this, but before I do that, I wanted to share a little bit more about how this is rolling into our ecosystem. So Cure Chain is Cure Token. Cure Token is Cure Chain and the Cure ecosystem. All of this is the same entity. So just as Cure Pay is, and all the other future utilities which are on our roadmap to develop, it's all in support of Cure. It's all in support of this giant ecosystem. And there's a lot more that's going to be coming out outside of even CureChain. So we are going to be using the same communities. You know, we're not starting up a new community. We're not starting up new communities at all. We're not treating this as a separate entity that lives on its own. This is all part of the same community, the same socials, the same enterprise at the end of the day. So it's all feeding into each other, supporting each other, and helping all of it grow equally. So so I'll pause there, but I do really feel strongly that this is the right move. And additionally, you know, the other final point I'll make about CureChain is that CureChain is going to enable us to complete the technology. That's the whole purpose of this. If we relied solely on CureToken's marketing tax, there's no way this would be developed for a very long time. We're trying to expedite that development. And in order to expedite that development, we need to create this beneficiary utility that can rise that, or make that happen and rise up to the top of having early stage pre-sale going into growth of liquidity, and then having predetermined taxes there that are set aside for the technology, because it is going to be significantly costly to complete this entire journey of CureChain. And riding on CureToken alone to do that, realistically, it would be a year, maybe 2 years before we could even get to a demonstrable, prototype of this. And I think I speak for everyone when I say I want to get there faster, and I want us to be able to see the results sooner. And, I really believe that this is something that has a lot of value to the entire ecosystem and is going to benefit all of the holders, whether it's, old holders in CureToken or new holders coming in. I really believe that this is going to be the way forward for us to turn CureToken into the project that we all believe it can be. And this is the tool that we're using in order to see that come to life. So I'm going to pause there a second while I get caught up on any DMs that may have come through the chat here. I don't see any questions here yet. Are there any that have popped out? Oh, I got to scroll down. Hold on a second. Oh, there. So Gemma did post the video which we produced. That's a great video. And I think the team's done a great job of explaining how all of this comes together. But I think it's great when people can hear it firsthand, to hear the vision and the strategy behind it, because I really believe that this is the right move for all the holders and the future of CureToken. I think that this is not only the right move, I really strongly feel that this is really the only move forward for us to get there faster and for us to rebuild CureToken's chart to the point of our heyday and get us back to the point where we do get to our all-time highs again. This is going to enable that to occur. So look at it as a tool. And I think that's a great perspective of how this is going to work. And this is just one of the ways we're going to carve out our spot in the blockchain and crypto sphere in order to make Cure become the project that I think we all believe it can be. So as I'm scrolling through, let me see here. Let me see if there's any questions here. Yeah, the pre-sale information is outlined here. Yeah, this is cool. So pre-sale whitelist is going to be collected through Google Forms. So you can go to curechain.info to see the 2 call to actions. There's a pre-sale button at the top and near the bottom where you can request your spot. And if you are a CureChain holder of 500,000 tokens or more, you're eligible for that first stage of the pre-sale. And with this, you get 15% discount. So that's also a big benefit, is you're already going in with a profit. More importantly, you have no tax, which is pretty remarkable. But that's the first round. So we're trying to really benefit those who've held Cure. I believe that because of this tier as well, we're going to get some new holders coming into CureToken that are going to want to enter into this tier, and they're going to need to own 500,000 plus tokens. So it's a way that we're going to grow our chart even further during this pre-sale, is by bringing in new people that want to participate in CureChain and get these savings and these discounts and get in there early. They're going to have to be a Cure token holder. The second round is a 12% discount, but additionally no tax. So there's no taxes to any Cure token holders, within those two buckets. And then the third round, we're going to be opening up to the public, and at this point there will be taxes, some form of taxes. They won't have the same benefits as those who have been in the project, in the Cure token project, because Cure token, as I mentioned, is the roots. It's the foundation of this entire ecosystem. So why not reward the people who are in the project with this benefit and this ability to be able to get into this early stage of CureChain as it's beginning its evolution toward the future state. It's just perfect timing, and there's no better people we want in this in round one and round two than Cure token holders, because they are the core of the Cure ecosystem. So then we get into, let me see what else we got here. Let's see. Yeah, so Gemma said, get your questions in. So if you haven't, please do so. We did outline tokenomics. There we go. All right, so tokenomics for this CureChain beneficiary utility of Cure token. We have 10% tax. Of that 10% tax, we have 4% going to tech, which is the development fees, as well as some little bit of marketing so that we can keep it going. We got to keep new people coming in. As most, if not everyone knows in the crypto space, you have to keep feeding your project in order to continue to get more people into it. So that's a big piece of it. 2% of it is going directly to Cure token. And what I mean by that is in the form of buyback and burn, which means we're going to be adding to our liquidity and we're going to be removing supply. What's better for a project than to add liquidity and remove supply? It's going to help grow Cure token and make it stronger. That's going to continue for the life of this CureChain Ether utility, this beneficiary utility. So that's extremely important, because you can see my belief in reinvesting in Cure token, because Cure token is the future of this, and that is the charity side of this. That's the core of the project, what it stands for, and CureChain is the this future utility state of how we're going to expedite research, and that's not the last thing we're ever going to do in Cure. I've spoken for months about how Cure is about making healthcare affordable, equal, and accessible. That's our next major initiatives. Once we get CureChain, through a demonstrable stage, then we get it into our major phase where we have mass adoption and we're production ready. I mean, this is going to be very soon. I'm not talking years away. Then we're going to, make that more bulletproof, make that more useful. But then we're going to move on to how do we make healthcare affordable, accessible, and equal. And I have a lot of ideas on this. I've spoken with a lot of experts in this space, and we have some plans which we're going to be introducing that will make that happen. And this is going to be done through different networks. It's going to be done through accessibility of technology for e-visits throughout the world, as well as other things. This is a very big idea that may be done not homegrown. It may not be something that we develop from nothing. It may be something that we create partnerships, that we leverage and license best of breed technologies, and we bring it all together into our ecosystem in order to make Cure stand for making healthcare equal and accessible and affordable. So that's the next major push after CureChain here. All right, so then I'm going to scroll through here even further, and we got some questions here about tokenomics, which I think I answered. Supply chain is total supply is still getting worked out. I don't think we have a final definitive answer on that yet, but that will be here soon enough. Looks like, yes, 2% is going to Cure token, which when you think about it is it's significant. So think about our best day in Cure token, which was $1 million in volume in a single day. And when you're talking at a scale of 2% on Ethereum, which projects on Ethereum have much larger volumes than they do on the BSC space, that's percentage, those 2% are going to add up very quickly. So it's going to be very large. And I see a question from Martian about 20% versus 2. Keep in mind that the taxes, out of 100% of the taxes, 20% of the taxes are going to Cure token, not 2%. But when you look at the entire volume that is not taxed, it's 2%. So it is 20% when you look at the amount taxed, just to clarify that. All right, so let me see. I see a question here. It says, I believe we need better rewards for Cure token holders. We need to have a mechanism for investors to want to have Cure token, which there is. There's several, and I'll explain those in a second. Right now, Cure Chain would be better since it has all technology. Okay, so keep in mind a couple things here. You know, Cure token is, as Gemma wrote here, is the governance token. So owning Cure token is the future of this. Cure Chain is the means to the end. So Cure Chain, the Ethereum project, is to help with development. It's to help get us over the hump so that we can develop, this technology. But the governance is definitely Cure token. And then Steve writes, can't speak in the AMA right now, but I'm interested in hearing how Cure token is looking to work with and help other charities. Yeah, that's a great question, because that's the reason this whole thing was started at the very beginning, was to initially just support pediatric cancer, which we've grown beyond. We've supported other families and research outside of pediatric cancer. The future state of Cure in general, the entire Cure ecosystem, is to be way bigger than that, and not just support families with cancer, and not just support researchers who only focus on cancer, but get much broader than that. We have done some grants to non-cancer families, but that will continue to grow. It's something that's really dear to my heart, something I'm really passionate about. But at the same time, being just a charity project in the crypto space is kind of a dying sort of venture, because you're always at conflict. Cryptocurrencies, people get into them because they want to find the next project that moons. They want to 10x their money or 1,000x their money. That's why people get into it. The charity side is something I'm passionate about, but it's always been at a divide. The reason, or the way that we can get over that hump, is by building utilities, and by building stuff that's purposeful and useful. So in the case of Cure Pay, it's going to be useful to other projects, and it's going to benefit Cure token. The same with Cure Chain. It's going to be beneficial to researchers, and it's going to build this ecosystem that I feel is going to have a massive impact on the world, but it's going to benefit Cure token. So we have to look at these things as kind of tools to help convert our project into not just being a charity-based project, but being an ecosystem that adds value, not just to the holders, but value to other projects, value to other industries, value to people, and all of that. Because all of that is part of this entire ecosystem. All right, so let me see. Cure Chain buys being fed. They are. Let's see. I have to mute someone here. Nope, we fixed it. All right. Let's see. Yeah, and then exactly, Freddie just made a point. Taxes are in place to sustain a project. We are in an extremely down market. I mean, that's no surprise. I'm sure everyone here has lost a significant amount of money in crypto in their bags over the past few months. We hope that's going to change across the board, but you need to be able to weather it out. That's the same for any project. Projects require money in order to be sustainable. They require costs, expenses that come in to pay for sponsorships, partnerships, marketing, just keep things going. So it's important that projects get to the point where they are sustainable. I think we're going to see at the end of this, if we're in a bear market, but at the end of this trend that we've been in, I think we're going to see a lot of projects that aren't going to make it. A lot of projects that don't have strong communities, or strong enough communities, that don't have enough activity in them to be sustainable. That is not what's going to happen to Cure at all. We are in a healthy position where we are sustainable. So as long as this market, as long as it goes on and carries on the way it's going, we'll be able to sustain it, which is something I know for certain other projects don't have that luxury, so we've worked, tirelessly for months to make that happen. And, as I mentioned, the ways we've been doing that is through building stronger utilities. And, I can't wait for CurePay to be utilized by our first project coming out, because that's going to demonstrate that we can generate funds that directly come into CureToken in a way that is meaningful and proven. And then from there, we can scale that and make that much more, mainstream, attract other projects. And that is going to be a feeder into CureToken. So I'm really excited about that. And just really excited to see where that goes. All right, so I see some questions here about soft caps, hard caps, which Eric answered. It's a timed event, 72 hours per phase, max 10 ETH per phase. That's all accurate. Total supply is being calculated, and he's correct. Yeah, so Eric did respond 780 million. That is what we're looking at for our initial total supply. So we have no need to burn initially, which obviously has, for those of you who are newer to crypto, burning has little effect. It's more of almost a gimmick at this point, but we're starting with a lower supply intentionally. And then let's see here. So another point that Eric just brought up is around, what we're aiming for. So we're aiming for starting at 10 cents, so $0.1. And our goal is to hit $1 actually very easily. And this we hope to do within the first day. And that's not unrealistic with a launch of this scale. And because this is going to be a very large scale launch. So that's our hope and anticipation. But the best part about all of that is the taxes coming off of that. So the taxes are going to benefit CureToken. They're going to benefit the development side of things to ensure that we deliver on what the vision is. And this is, as I said before, this is the means by which we're going to ensure that this happens at a faster pace than it could have with our existing tokenomics, which currently don't support development at this scale. All right. So then a question here from Wilbert. It's about CureToken could get the possibility of going in other networks like Solana, Phantom, Polygon, and more. That is a possibility. We have not ruled out any of that. We believe that this needs to scale in a proportional rate so that we can explore all of that as we get into it. And just to be clear, the reason that we chose Hedera is because of the healthcare side or aspects of that. It's just the perfect blockchain infrastructure to support the future utility of CureChain, the dynamic NFTs, the consent, access, all those sorts of things. It's the right network. And also reiterate about Ethereum. Ethereum is the right network for our next move here, not neglecting BSC. I want to be really, really clear. We're not sunsetting, we're not neglecting, we're not moving on from. All of this is in support of CureToken. And that's my commitment, and that is never going to change. These are means to the end, and so if we go into Solana or Phantom or Polygon, it's going to be strategic moves, just like this one. It's going to be very strategic moves, but always in support of what is at the core of what this entire ecosystem stands for, which is CureToken. All right, I see some questions here again from Steve. Great answer. Thank you. Definitely hit me up on DM. Okay, perfect. That's from Snafu. And then let's see here. Yeah, so Eric's further clarifying, anyone who holds over $1,000 worth of CureToken is currently in the 250K range. And that's why, he made a good point here. That's why there's two phases which are happening prior to open market. And it's because we do believe in CureToken. We value people in CureToken, and we want to reward those people. And we're rewarding them by giving them the premier early VIP exclusive only access to what we believe is going to be a very successful launch. And we want to share that with everyone. We want to have all of the loyal Cure holders be involved in this. And this is how we've figured out how to do that. We could have, two other points here. We could have easily said, you know what, we're going to move over to Ethereum. We're going to sunset Cure token. We're going to sunset the BSC space, and we're going to just move on to Cure chain. That never even crossed our minds. We believe so strongly in what we've built here, in the community we've built, and what we stand for, that would be nothing we would ever consider. Every decision that we've made, whether it be in conversation or strategically, has been, what can we do to grow the chart? What can we do to increase, the investment opportunities on Cure token? What can we do to make Cure token get back to its all-time high? That's our number one objective, and it always will be. And again, this is a means to ensure that is something that can occur, and that's inevitably that's why this is happening. So all of this is in support of Cure token, the BSC space, what we built. All of this is going to be centered around that. So just want to be really clear about that, because a lot of people are misunderstanding some of the communications coming out, or potentially misunderstanding, why this is occurring. But I just want to be really clear. This is all occurring because we want to build our chart back up, inevitably. This is all occurring because we want to bring in larger investments to help with technology. We want to take benefits of those investments and feed them into Cure token. So all of this is very strategic. This was not a decision that was taken lightly. And we have spent months on this, worked through different scenarios, different game plans, different ideas. I mean, we've looked, nothing was off the table. But this is the one that really resonated with me as being the next step of several more steps that are going to come within our ecosystem that is all going to be in support of Cure token. So Cure token is directly going to benefit from all of these things we're going to be introducing, because as I keep saying, it's at the core of our project. I mean, it's at the absolute center of it. So we can't lose sight of that, and don't get distracted by what people are saying, or misconceptions or misunderstandings. I'm telling you right now, the reality of it is all of these things we're going to be doing are in support of Cure token. So it's something I strongly feel, believe in behind, and I want to see it grow, as I think all of you do. So just make sure you keep that in mind, and don't think we're moving on from this, because I am not, and I can tell you that for certain. All right, let me scroll through a couple of these. And Cure token and Cure chain, and all of these future things which we're going to be developing, which I won't I've hinted to, but all these other things we're going to be developing are all going to be in the same communities. We're not going off and spinning off communities, setting up new channels. We're not trying to start up sub projects and side projects. All of this is the same. So don't look at it as separate things. Look at it as a single entity with tons of opportunities for Cure token holders, and for Cure token holders to get into some of these things that we're building into this ecosystem. Get in there early. I mean, now's the time to do it. Everyone knows that getting into projects early is the smartest move you can do. And what better way to get into a project early if you don't have to pay taxes as well? I mean, that's extremely positive benefit to all the Cure token holders. All right, so let me see. Let's see. I see a point here from Dakatoshi, which says, not all Cure holders get in at the same point. That's extremely true. Some have spent more just to have 100,000 tokens, for example. Yeah, that is extremely true. Some did buy at extremely low points early on in the project. Others have bought at the height, where accumulating 100,000 tokens, for example, would have been very difficult. Yeah, so that's a really good point. And I think we take it on a case-by-case basis based on scenario, but we have set the threshold at 250K. But if there's conversations around current holders that aren't quite there yet, nearby, or bought at all-time highs and things like that, we'll definitely have conversations about that, because we don't want to neglect anyone, and we don't want people to miss out on the opportunity as well. I see a question here from Jules. Says, is there any chance that Cure token holders will sell in order to buy? Yeah, we've already seen that. We've already seen, I think, somebody who held a lot of tokens sell earlier in what are we on? Monday. So I think it was late last week or this weekend. that's a that was someone who didn't understand the full vision of what we're doing here. They actually lost out because Cure Token is where you want to be. That's where you want to hold your long term, because that's the one that's going to continue to grow up over time. Cure Chain is going to be the place where you go if you want to support development and technology and get in early on a rising project. So there's two different things here, but to sell Cure Token to buy Cure Chain, that would be a miss, because then you won't be able to get back into Cure Token at the price point at which you sold at. So that's a short-sighted individual. So don't want to do that. It would definitely hurt the chart as well, but it would also hurt you personally. So you don't want to do that. And scrolling through further, let's see here. Yeah, so Eric actually answered that as well. Let's see. Am I missing anything here? How much would it cost for 500,000 tokens? I think we got an answer there. JJ. Okay, so that might be a case-by-case basis. So we'll talk about that. I see a lot of responses here of things I've already covered off on, which is good. So I'm hopefully not being redundant. And we'll be able to buy Cure Chain with Cure Pay after launch. It won't be there from day one, but Cure Pay does need to extend beyond the BSC space into the Ethereum space. That is currently in development and will be rolled out first in the Cure ecosystem. But that's also because we want to support Ethereum projects as well with Cure Pay. So we don't want to just be in the BSC space with that product. We feel that being in more products, inclusive of Polygon and Solana as well, among others, the sooner we can build Cure Pay to support those other chains, the better. Ethereum is the next one on the roadmap, and Cure Chain is the first use case for Cure Pay within that ecosystem. Your staked tokens, this question came up. Your staked tokens do count toward the thresholds. So that is accurate. Let's see what else. Yeah, so I see I just answered the question about Cure Pay on Cure Chain. And now I'm back at the bottom here, I think. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to pause there and make sure. Let me just jump back to another group here, make sure I didn't miss any questions from anyone else.
Guys, feel free to ask questions.
Yeah, everyone. I mean, now's your time. We want to clear up any misconceptions that anyone has. So if you want to speak on voice chat, you can speak up as well.
Yeah. All right, cool. And, anybody on the mod, admin, management team, if you guys have questions or clarification points as well, definitely speak up now. I think, Eric, you had a few different points you wanted to make.
Jacob?
Yes.
Can I ask you regarding the white paper?
Yep.
Do you think, or will it be released after the pre-sale?
Yeah, no. So MS, good question.
This will be a big white paper, I guess, and I think it is still developing.
Yeah. So there's been.
Already.
Yeah. So MS, that's a great question, and I want to be really clear on this one as well. So the final white paper for Cure Chain is going to be a significant document. It is, I imagine it's going to be more than 80 pages, because it's very technical. It shows, flows, diagrams. It shows the entire ecosystem. It talks about the data, what formats of data, where it's coming from, how it's getting stored inside of the cloud-based infrastructure attached to the blockchain, all of those different types of things, extremely technical and complex. That's going to require a significant amount of additional time in order to get it to that level. What we will be releasing is a short form white paper to describe this further so that people can clearly understand what Cure Chain is, without having to sit through an AMA, or you'll get a lot more detail than you'll get on the website, for example. That will be released shortly, but it will not be the full version. The full version will require more time, and I think that as well. One point to make on it is that it's going to continually evolve. We will get the first version of this white paper. Let's just say it is 80 pages. That's going to continue to grow over time. Once we get past this demonstrable version, which we feel is going to happen within 60, 90 days, once we get past that point, we're going to continually add to the white paper. So MS, to answer your question shortly, we will have a version of it for people to review. It will be deeper than the website. I can't say how much at this point, because it's going to come down to what we can accumulate from all the strategy sessions that we've had and what we can put into place. But we will want to put something in place, and that will, as I said, get larger and larger and larger over time. And as we get past and out of our first phase, which is the demonstrable version of this, it'll continue to grow from that point. But yeah, so we will have a version, and we'll have a much larger version here. Hopefully, I would say the next 30 days would be what I hope we can shoot for. Where we'll have a lot more technical information, more roadmap information about the targets we're going after, the segments, the researchers, how they're going to leverage it, all those sorts of things are going to come in the future. All right, so then I see, let me see this. It looks like all the questions that are getting asked in the chat are getting answered. If there's any that I need to cover off on here, let's bubble them up and speak about them. Looks like Eric's typing something, probably another response. Are there any other questions? Thanks for that question, MS. Any other questions that anyone may have about where we've been, where we've gotten to, where we are, where we're going, kind of why this is all occurring? I want to make sure that people leave here or watch this AMA on recorded version and get the answers that they need and that they're looking for. I do know, I guess another point here is I do know there's a lot of misconceptions floating around and a lot of lack of understanding that seems to be exasperated and moving throughout not just our community, but within other communities. And I want to really shore all that up, because they're really far-fetched, and there's a lot of lack of understanding and also a lack of willingness to want to understand, which is, really deflating, and defeating. I mean, why would you want to make statements and claims and show a lack of understanding of something that you have no interest in even trying to understand? So I just want to make sure that people get everything they can out of this opportunity here to learn about this and learn about how this is going to be such a big value to the future of Cure Token and what we've spent the past we're in May, past 10 months building. And the reason for this is because we want Cure Token to succeed. We want it to get back to its all-time high, and we're going to continue to build all sorts of utilities, all sorts of technologies. We're going to go on to more future chains in order to support Cure Token, because this is, as I keep saying and reiterating, Cure Token is the core, and it's the foundation, it's the center of the entire Cure ecosystem. And the Cure ecosystem, I mean, if you look at Cure Chain, for example, that's probably just 5%, 10% maybe of what Cure ecosystem is going to become. This is such a small sliver of what the future state holds for this entire ecosystem and what we're building. So it's important that we realize that and recognize that, and it's important that we clear up the misconceptions that we're abandoning a project and starting a new one. That's not what this is at all. This is a means to an end in order to support Cure Token and take Cure Token to that next level. And there will be a lot more things like this in the future. So I just hope that people recognize that, but I hope that as well that once they see the success of this strategy and this tactic that we're approaching and the direct benefits that it's going to have to Cure Token, they're going to be much more willing for all the other things that we got coming up in the future here, because all of these things are strategically created in order to support what we're building here and what we got here. And that is the message we need to get out, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there. All right, I do see some.
Hi, Jacob.
Hello, how's it going? Who is this?
Everything good. Eugenio.
Oh, hi. How are you doing?
All good. I just have one question regarding CurePay. I
Yeah.
know that the goal is to make CurePay a means to get capital or in towards Cure Token. And I know that the CurePay is based on a partnership with a third-party company that allows the transactions to go through credit cards. Is there any limits with that company to that maybe puts a cap to how much it can expand towards other projects? Or is it something that's already been talked with that third party?
Yeah, the third party, just for full transparency, the third party is a company called Stripe. They handle the actual credit card processing. They are the most reputable credit card processor in the world when it comes to anything technology related, anything that gets developed online. Stripe is the go-to resource for that. Everybody else tries to follow Stripe. Stripe does have caps, which we've already discussed, spoken about. They also have regulations against purchases of cryptocurrency, which we've been able to navigate around for a variety of different reasons. I don't want to give the secret sauce away, but we've been approved to do it, which I'm not sure any other project or anybody else that creates a utility like this is going to be able to do. I don't think they're going to be able to navigate that. And that's a significant value to CurePay, in that we have already built that relationship, already solved that challenge, and have already discussed the future state of this. So I do not foresee there being limitations as far as where this can scale. I just don't see them. I know there's another project, I won't say who the project is, but there's another project that we've been speaking to about CurePay and about specifically the payment processing side of things. And, most projects would be talking in the realm of 5 figures a month, maybe 6 figures, which is in the US dollars, it'd be $1 million. They're talking in excess of 7 figures, which is a significant amount of money. That's getting into the tens of millions plus per month of activity. And that's not scaring anyone who works on CurePay. It's not scaring the payment processor. So this is a product built on solid technology with the best of breed different providers out there. Stripe is just one of them, of many more that are within the CurePay product. But nothing so far is scary as far as scale. We really feel that this can scale appropriately. And I think it's going to be a big differentiator in the crypto space to have an on-ramp like this that has such low fees. It's so easy to use. It happens in seconds. I'll give you an example. I just used someone else's on-ramp that they had just built to test it on. And because first of all, I wanted to support their project, but more importantly, I wanted to try out their new on-ramp payment processor. Unfortunately, they were using a third party for it, for their payment processor and conversion over to Ethereum from US dollar. And I did it over 2 weeks ago, and I still have not received my Ethereum. That's been 2 weeks. So I have not been able to buy into their project. With CurePay, you can buy it instantly. It happens in seconds. So that's another major reason why CurePay is the differentiator in this space. And I strongly feel that doubling down on that technology, bringing in more developers to help us get that over to that next level and get projects onboarded, it's just going to be the best of breed technology out there. And we're going to be able to really make a difference in this space of a lot of hacked products and kludgy processes, bad processes and onboarding processes, and build the best solution possible. And that's what CurePay is for Cure Token today. But I feel it can be even better when we start onboarding other projects. And this is going to become what I believe is the standard for on-ramp. I really believe that we're going to be solving problems that no other on-ramp has been able to solve. And we're going to do that by building the best experience first, on the best technology second, and bringing in some of the best projects out there. So very excited about where CurePay is and where it has the potential of going.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I see some other stuff has popped up here, but I'm not sure if it's all getting answered, but I want to make sure it is. Gemma or Eric, Freddie, Mando, anybody have anything that has bubbled up that I need to speak about here? Let me see.
Yeah, if you want to
Can I
speak
ask
about the
question?
someone was asking, MS was asking about the whale anti-whale.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff, so
Yeah, this is an exciting.
down and the new contract that we wrote.
Yeah, awesome, Eric. Thanks for that setup. Yeah, so if you go to curechain.info, you'll see a lot of information about obviously your tokenomics and all that. But one of the coolest features are really two features. One is a cooldown feature, which the idea being that there's a couple things. Let me start first with the simple one. The simplest one is everyone knows that on the Cure token contract, the tokens, which are the form which get taxed, are converted over to BNB in order to fund, marketing initiatives in the charity side. But that conversion happens in the Cure token contract. It happens when somebody sells, which, looking back at the contract, that's one of the things I really thought needed to be reversed. Why would you want your chart to get hit by somebody selling and then you forcibly hit it again in order to convert tokens into BNB to liquidate it? So that's one of the things that we switched. We turned that to not happen on a sell, but rather happen on a buy, so that you don't get the red of someone selling and you get another red of the contract selling. So that's reversed. That's a major feature enhancement. The second thing is this cooldown feature, which allows for a period of time to occur so that whales don't drop their bags really quickly. There's a period at which that happens over time. The other feature which Eric has been instrumental in architecting, which I think is a very, very cool feature, is this idea of what we're calling dynamic tax. And you can find a whole section about this on the website. And the dynamic tax means that it alters what your tax amount is based on the price impact that you're going to have. So there's a whole table here so you can see what that means. But it's a really exciting feature, which means, if you're selling your entire bag, you're going to be taxed at a different rate than someone who's just, buying and selling, day trading or something like that. We want to incentivize volume, and the volume comes from multiple trades, but we want to de-incentivize, mass sell-offs and, just sell-offs to the point where it really hurts projects. And we've seen that on Cure Token. We saw it last week recently with the sale of one bag specifically. Those things hurt projects, and we want to limit the risk to investors because investors don't want that. They don't want those big sell-offs, and they don't want to see, losing out on opportunities. And the ways we're trying to solve that is by making it not difficult, but we're making it so that there's a different tax bracket that people, very similar to how IRS works. You get put into different tax brackets based on your income level with the IRS. This is an inverse of that. So the more you're selling, and if you're a massive whale, and you sell a lot, you're going to be taxed at a higher rate than someone who's just doing a few thousand here, a few thousand there, a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there, like most people in Cure Token today. So it's de-incentivizing these massive whales from exiting and getting away with low taxes at the end of the day. So a really cool feature. This can be turned on or off, and it can also be modified in the percentages. But we are launching with 10% max, 8, and then 6, and then 4 on buys, and then the sells change and alter based on the price impact. Price impact is also it's variable based on liquidity versus the amount of tokens you're selling. There's math that goes into it, so that's what calculates the price impact. And you can see that within PancakeSwap or I think PooCoin. When you do try to do a sell, you'll see the price impact as a percentage on a buy or a sell. Eric, is there anything else you want to cover off on with that?
Just that it is changeable as well. So if in the future there's any reason to decrease the impact effect, then we can do that
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, good point. All right.
So the main thing is that we're going to be on any contract it'll liquidate. So when it liquidates on a buy instead of a sell, if anything, the project is hurt more because you're not getting the top. Because obviously you've got the pump, and then when you're at the top and someone sells and it drops down, that's when you're selling. You're doing it at the same time at the top. What we're going to be doing is on the way up to the top.
Mhm.
So in a sense, it is going to affect everything there in funding, but in the long run, on the chart and everything like that, it's actually going to be beneficial because there's been a lot of, and we've been sat in the background home with Jake like, oh, like every time someone sells, there's a big dip, and it's been so frustrating. So we've decided that this time we're going to do it every time someone buys, and that was the logic.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going to be a big difference. I mean, it's always discouraging to see someone sell and then the contract would sell, so that's, that creates a larger red bar, and we inevitably want to see that be reversed. So that's why it's going to be on buys rather than sells. So great clarification there. Also on the website, and for those of you who haven't seen it, it is curechain.info, but I want to walk through a couple things here. So first off, it's a quick explanation about what CureChain is, what the future state is, agnostic research data, healthcare accessibility. But as you scroll down, you start to see some features. What is Cure Phase 2? And that's what we're in right now and what we're moving into. There's going to be multiple phases of Cure throughout the years, but this is the next evolution of Cure. But it talks about the data, the results, decentralization aspects, access, experts that are behind it, which I'll get into here in a second. And it's obviously part of the Cure token, Cure ecosystem. Then you can see the team. If you don't, or if you're not familiar with Jim Nasser, there's a little bio about him below. He used to be chief architect for the CDC for blockchain technology. Extremely smart individual, and I'm very proud and honored to have him as part of our team because he's done a lot in this space and knows a lot about this space. So he's going to be adding a significant amount of value to help us bring this to life and see it through, see the vision through to real world utility. Then we outline the core team members, which you all should know at this point. And then talk about our previous milestones. This is really important that you understand what were some of the things that we've done throughout Cure and the life cycle of Cure. And this is, I'm really proud of some of these things that we've done. CertTech audits, the amount of money we've raised, the partnership with NASCAR. I'm really proud of that. Crypto Legends, direct result of this vision that we had about bringing projects together. And we've not seen the end of Crypto Legends. There's a lot more that we're working on to bring that out even further and farther to more projects and to more people. American Airlines listed there as well. I'm really proud of that. But then as you go down further, we do talk a bit about the pre-sale. We talk about the technology. This is exciting. So our tech stack of how this is getting developed for the demonstrable prototype. As I mentioned, it is on the Hedera network. It is built on what is really cool is that we're not building it just on AWS, Amazon, or Google Cloud, or Azure, Microsoft. We're doing it on all three so that there's redundancy. And you do this for a variety of reasons. So you never go down, you never have outages. You always have backups and just redundancy. So if something fails, then it rolls over to another environment. So that really excited about that. It's built front end. It's going to be built in React, which is modern JavaScript framework. It's Hedera Hashgraph is extremely important. That is similar to BSC scan, Etherscan, et cetera. But then as well, we're leveraging some technologies, which is from Acor, which is our technology partner on this. And they've developed proprietary technology called Hashlog, as well as RightsHash, which are two of multiple products which they're bringing to the table to help us get to that demonstrable concept. Then it gets into the dynamic tax, which you can see outlined below. Of the taxes, so of the percentage of tax which is accumulated, there's the breakdown below that. So 40, 20, 20, and 20 of the tax. Then below that, there's the roadmap. The roadmap outlines everything that we're doing right now and what's going to be coming up. This goes into 3 phases and takes us to the end of the year. You'll see that there's some really big milestones listed here. And all of these are achievable and on track and in our plan to execute. So you can see all of those. If you want more information, it's there. And there will be a white paper with all this as well. Below that, you'll see Cure in the news. I was really proud of this as well. When we started to aggregate all the different places where Cure had been mentioned throughout the past 10 months, it's been a lot of places. And this is a short list of all those places. We've been on MarketWatch, Yahoo, Business Insider, NASDAQ, Bloomberg, Forbes, Chicago Tribune, New York Times, NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox News. We've been everywhere. And this is just a sampling of some of the places. And there's actually a lot more. So really proud of that. But you're going to see this continue to get enhanced. And you're going to see a lot more publicity happening around Cure Chain, all in support of Cure Token. And reminder, our Cure sponsorship with NASCAR is 100% centered around Cure Token. So we're not shifting our marketing efforts. We're not shifting our priorities. Everything is still in support of Cure Token. And Cure Chain is our tool that we're using to bring more audiences, generate technology development income in order to support the technology, and grow our chart on Cure Token. You'll have a section there below that, which is the white paper, which is coming soon, which it is. And we will be releasing that once it does come in. Our partners and sponsors below, obviously Acor, technology partner, Hedera, who's a blockchain network, AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure, and there's among others. There's going to be a large list of partners and sponsors that are going to help us bring this to life. And then getting down to the Cure ecosystem, which I keep referencing. You know, our Cure ecosystem is pretty big at this point. But as I keep saying, you know, Cure Chain is just 10%, 5 to 10% of what the Cure ecosystem is going to become over time. But right now, as everyone knows, we have Cure Token. You know, that's at the heart and the core of the ecosystem. We have the foundation side, which is the foundational aspect of this. Then we have the grant program, which I want to make sure we outline. That's super important to the vision and mission of what we're doing here. We also have the Race for a Cure, which is also really exciting. The sponsorship with NASCAR, NFT promotions, and everything else that surrounds that, inclusive of the motorcycle raffle and giveaway. And then we have a section just on promos and giveaways, which highlights the motorcycle and the NFTs. So lots there. And that's the website. And this is going to continue to get enhanced. This is the version 1.0 of multiple versions of websites that are going to be updated and come out. What the next step is that we're going to go back to our Cure Token website and start to speak about Cure Chain within that website and start to blow out the tie-in between all of this into the Cure Token ecosystem and why all of this is revolving around what is the center of this hub, which is Cure. So there'll be a revision to that website coming out soon with an updated roadmap as well, which is inclusive of Cure Chain in that roadmap, among other things that I've spoken about. But all of that is going to be updated here shortly on the Cure Token website. And I think that takes to the end of the website. Yeah, so that's the end of the website. So if you haven't seen the website, definitely head over to the website and take a read on your own. And if you have any questions coming out of it, be sure to send them over or come to our chat. We got a lot of people in the chat that are up to speed on what we're doing here, why we're doing it, that can speak to you, answer questions. I mean, Gemma's been great, Freddie, Mendoshi, everyone's great at answering questions. And I'm there as well every once in a while. Was traveling this weekend, but I'm back and here. So if you have questions, just drop them in there and we'll get you answers as quickly as we can. So with that, I'll pause. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else I haven't covered off on. Eric or Gemma, Freddie, Mendoshi, is there anything else we need to cover off on? All right. Well, I want to say thank you, everyone, for attending this AMA. We did record this. We're going to post it on our Telegram, try to get it up on Twitter as well. We want to get as much people knowing about it as possible. And I just want to say thank you to the Cure Token community and for all of you who've joined. This project, which started as this idea, this charity concept, charity project, is growing and is growing in directions that I never thought was possible. And I'm so excited to see what we've accomplished and what we're going to be able to accomplish. And none of this is possible without having a strong community and people who believe in Cure Token. I mean, it's at the end of the day, that is the center of this entire ecosystem. And we just need to continue to believe in it, continue to talk about it, evangelize about it, and share it. I mean, we're doing a lot of good things. We've helped a lot of families. We've helped fund research, a lot of it. And now we're building a real world utility, which is CureChain, which is really going to make a difference in the way research occurs. And I'm just so excited about that and all of this coming together. And to think about this, being that next stepping stone. And this is just the beginning of where we're going to be going. I mean, it's just so exciting. So thank you, everyone, for being a part of it. And this is going to be a really great ride for all of us. And I can't wait to see, Cure Token get back to its heyday and get its all-time high. And I know that this strategy and this approach is going to ensure that we get there and we give it the best foot forward. So thank you, everyone. And, feel free to come into the chat and ask questions if you have any. There's people there 24 hours a day. And but other than that, thank you, everyone. And it's good to be back in Chicago. And I will see you all throughout the week here. But come over to the chat and let's have some conversations. So thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your week. And take care.
Thank you, Jacob.
Woo! Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jake. Thanks to the team. This is exciting. Excited for this new journey. Good job, everyone.